I think it has characteristics of a bubble, and so we stay away from those. We don't know if AI is going to turn into AGI. We don't know what that means for the economy, for employment, for inflation. And so I think if you threw this much uncertainty into a market, I think you'd say, maybe the market should be actually at a lower multiple to accommodate all this uncertainty, and instead the multiple keeps going up. So that's what makes me think there may be bubbly aspects of it.
从业44年，仅5个亏损年度的价投大佬塞斯·卡拉曼发出警示 ：AI 热潮已滋生市场泡沫，估值过高，未来难测。因此，他正主动规避喧嚣的热门赛道，转而聚焦被市场遗忘的 AI 无关资产。
I think that most participants in the market, and understandably the media, are going to go with whatever the direction of the market is. It's a downer to talk about downside. Nobody wants to hear it when the market's going up every day. But there'll be a moment when things will correct. There'll be a lot of pain. And usually in those environments, if we've protected well, which so far we have, we'll be able to put capital to work when our competitors are maybe standing back a little bit. So the opportunities that happen in the worst environments can lead to returns for years afterward from deploying more capital into those markets.
What does that translate into in this environment that we're in right now?
This is a stretched environment, but it's an unusual circumstance, right? That people have asked me, is this a bubble? I think it has characteristics of a bubble. It's an optimistic tone around a technology, around a new era, this kind of new era thinking. And you certainly see it in places like when Allbirds, the shoe company, added AI to their name, the stock did well. And that's crazy. That's reminiscent of the dot-com era. But AI seems like a technology that could be so game-changing that it would be hard to dismiss it or call anything in particular around it a bubble. What's hard is that it creates uncertainty. I think none of us can know with any confidence how's it all going to pan out. What are the winners today going to still be the winners? Will it be a winner-take-all technology, or will there be room for a lot of different winners? Where's it all going? And kind of what's the right price to pay? Are these good businesses that are forming? Are they great businesses? What will the damage be? So I think the market is tending to think about AI winners, everyone wants to own those. AI losers, everyone wants to avoid those. And AI agnostic, which people are also kind of not interested in because the returns are not as exciting as AI winners. So we think we're spending a lot of time on AI agnostic, where people are just not paying attention and the price is drifting lower. We're looking for some perceived AI losers that we're not sure really will be losers. For example, in the credit market, there's a lot of software-related credits that are getting pretty clobbered, and we're not sure. I mean, they're trading at very, very low multiples of cash flow, and through the debt layer, even lower multiples. And so at least it's something as credit investors that we're taking a look at.
Yeah, I was going to ask I think of you as a value investor. Do you characterize yourself that way?
Yes.
So what does a value investor do when AI is the predominant theme right now?
So I think that there's a temptation by a lot of people, and especially by academics, to think of value as cheap paint by numbers, right? The lowest multiple stocks. We've realized really at the beginning of Baupost that that's not the right definition. The right definition is to think about what's a business worth. Obviously, a growing business is worth more than a stagnant business. I think that the melting ice cubes of today's businesses are melting faster than ever, that if you've got a business problem, you may be eroding really quickly. And so we stay away from those. We don't care how, 4 times cash flow. We don't care, because that's not ultimately going to have value that you can get your hands around. And what we want with our value approach is to think about, what do we know for sure, especially at a time that's this heady, that people are thinking so many years out, right? When you're paying 40 times multiple, or in some case infinite multiples, you've got to have some degree of conviction about a very distant future. And I just don't see how we can do that. We don't know if AI is going to turn into AGI. We don't know what that means for the economy, for employment, for inflation. And so I think if you threw this much uncertainty into a market, I think you'd say, maybe the market should be actually at a lower multiple to accommodate all this uncertainty. And instead, the multiple keeps going up. So that's what makes me think there may be bubbly aspects of it, even if the technology proves to be on the higher end of expectations.